Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 7 of Season 8 of the ZADs Galaxy Tour, brought to you by Zealous Racing League. My name is not my name, excuse me. My name is Shim. I'm your host tonight, and I'm so excited to bring you the final round of our Season 8 of the ZADs Galaxy Tour. This has been an absolutely amazing season so far. We've seen a lot of great races, a lot of great battles between our competitors, and that should be no different tonight as we race at the beautiful Misano World Circuit. Now, just give me a second here while I forget to turn on the audio so you can actually hear the sounds of these beautiful cars at Misano here. Late practice as our drivers now have 6 minutes left of free practice before the race to get their bearings of the course and to get an idea of how fast they'll be tonight. Before we begin, I just want to give a shout out to the Zealous Racing League uh, social media pages and to our Discord. Given that this is the final round of Season 8, if you're interested in joining Zealous in the future for future seasons and future racing, feel free to join our Discord. There's a link on the homepage of our YouTube channel. The Discord is where you can find the most up-to-date information on Zealous Racing League leagues, seasons, and any special events that we do as well. I can say that Season 9 will be starting fairly shortly after Season 8 here within a couple weeks. The team is finalizing a few details, but details should be out soon for Season 9, looking to have a 10-race season. Season 8 was a little smaller with the 7-race season, but we're back to the 10-race season, maybe a few less races for Season 9. But as those details are getting ironed out, feel free to join our Discord, and if you're interested in joining those leagues in the future. And welcome, Keg, in the chat. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the stream tonight, and hope you enjoyed this race. As well, if you're interested in learning more about Zealous, we do have social media pages on Twitter and Facebook, so feel free to join those. Links are also on our homepage. As we have 4 minutes left in free practice, before we get into the racing, before we get into the qualifying, I do want to highlight the championship standings as this is the last race of the season. So normally, for our races, our winner gets 50 points, goes down in increments of 5 until we get to 4th place. 5th place gets 33 points, as 4th place gets 35, goes to 33, 31, 39, 29, 27, 25, and it goes down in increments of 2 until we get to 13th place. And then it goes down to increments of 1 until we get to 5 points, and anybody lower than that will get 5 points. Now, if we don't have that many drivers, you'll get the points that you see in your place. But the real battles that we're going to have to watch out for tonight are especially in these middle top 10 spots. Justin Friesen with a great race last week at the Circuit of the Americas. 2 good races puts him now 4th place in our standings with 231 points. But he is only 4 points ahead of Matthew Reed behind him. So we're going to want to watch that battle, because if there's any more than 2 places in between these guys tonight, it could be a change in places. So we'll have to watch Friesen and Reed tonight as they race it out. Now, Fender didn't have a great race last week, but he has got 6th place in our standings still, and he's going to be battling it out with Chris Rise below him and Jeremy Story. Those 3 are probably going to be battling it out tonight for the 6, 7, and 8 positions. Jose Nunez hasn't been able to make every single race this year, but he's had a great half of the season when he could make it. He's been able to make the last 4 races, or last 3 races, I should say, and now he finds himself in P9 in the standings. Now, with the results that he's seeing, he could see a pretty big bump in terms of points. So he might be able to skyrocket himself up into maybe P8, P7 area, maybe even P6 if the cards play right and he gets a good position this race. Drivers that are around in the same area as him, J.J. Burr with 163, only 2 points behind Nunez, so very close in points. Cromier, Todd, he's only 4 points then behind Burr. So the battles for these top 10 positions are going to be very close tonight between our drivers. We're going to be wanting to watch battles between Burr, Cromier, even Candido, same exact amount of points as Cromier. Turnbull, he's still in the battles. Ricky Scott, same exact points as Turnbull. Kevin Hughes only 4 points behind them. So a lot of our drivers here just past the top 10 positions and into the top 10. A lot of close battles between them. The championship so far has been dominated by KP, Kenneth Portis II, or Kenneth Portis II. But KP has been dominating this season so far with 438 points going into the final race this year. Has the most wins, has finished on the podium every single race. I expect something from him, something similar today. But we'll have to see how Shenkai Zhang, our second place driver in the championship standings, reacts to that today. If something goes horribly wrong for KP, it's still possible for Zhang to get back some place or get back some points, possibly even skyrocket up into the lead, or at least get close. And our final person in the podium for the championship is Tada. Didn't do nearly as well last race, but at the time of last race, he had already very much solidified his spot in P3. I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch him in this race, but we'll really just have to see. So our top 3 positions might be pretty solidified at this point, but that does not mean that there's not good racing that's going to go on tonight. We've got some great racing in the midfield that we're going to want to watch. Now, as we go into qualifying, our drivers have 15 minutes of qualifying before today's race. Qualifying will be 15 minutes and the race will be 60 minutes. There will be 1 mandatory pit stop in the middle of the race during a 15-minute pit window. It is mandatory for our drivers to take tires, and if they so choose, they can also get fuel. So, as usual, as tradition in my streams at least, I like to take the first driver out in qualifying and watch them through their first lap on circuit. Just to give everyone who is watching in chat a feel for how the circuit layout works, what our drivers are going to be subjected to today during the race. And the first person out tonight, I don't believe we followed Nunez yet this season out on the opening lap of qualifying, but Nunez does get the honors tonight, being the first out with Zhang and Portis right behind. But as Nunez rounds the hairpin here, we will follow him on board in the cockpit for his first flying lap as he goes through a bit of a kink here. Coming on the final turn, very tight left-hander, down the start-finish straight, across the line. Here we start getting as far over to the left as possible, braking, getting close, hugging the corner into a bit of a chicane, hugging as far right as you can, and then swinging out, keeping the momentum into a hard braking zone, into an odd hairpin here. Two almost 90-degree right-handers to make a hairpin into another kink down the back straight. That kink you can cut a lot, but definitely the best way to do it is to cut as far right as possible into another hairpin here at the end of the back straight. Swinging wide, a lot of swinging wide. Got to utilize the whole track here at Misano to get all the speed. Trying to break as late as possible into this hairpin down another one of the large straights, the largest straight I want to say on the track. I say that, but it isn't so straight. We have a couple kinks in the track. Two of them you don't have to worry about, but the last one definitely do, as it catches drivers off guard most of the time. Braking into the final turn down the straight here, trying to get as far left as you can into the last hairpin of the circuit. Want to get that car all the way to the right of the track, cut the corner in the kink, stay to the right into the final turn, cut that corner and get all the way, use all the curbing you can down the front start finish straight, and that finishes our first lap at Misano with a 34.9. A very respectable lap. I think he's going to be about a second off the pace with that, but I think Nunez, if anyone can pick up the time. And exactly as I said there, about a second off the pace there from our pole sitter now, Shanghai Zhang with a 33.9. Portis in between him, sandwiches 5/10ths back from Zhang. Pitch sets time 2 seconds back. Pitch in that Nissan. Awfully dark here for a night qualifying session at Misano. Ricky Scott goes 3 seconds back. I believe the story of this year, if I had to say, is Zhang is definitely one with great qualifying pace, but we've seen him drop off during the races. Portis has done a great job of being able to stick with Zhang during the races. Even if Portis hasn't been getting the pole positions, which in the last 2 races at Circuit of the Americas, he did not get the pole position. But Portis is able to stick with Zhang every step of the way and be opportunistic in the way that he approaches the battle, picking just the right moment to overtake and then dominate for the rest of the race. That happened both races at Circuit of the Americas. It happened at Watkins Glen during the second race. And we'll have to see if that happens today as well. Looking at Zhang's pace currently, definitely pretty rapid. Portis is only almost 2/10ths back, but to be honest, from what I've seen between the battles of these two drivers, I don't think 2/10ths is enough for Zhang to feel comfortable. When Zhang had the blowout win at Indianapolis, I believe he was a whole half a second faster, I want to say, than Portis throughout his qualifying laps. And that's really, I think, where, he would like to be when it comes to qualifying pace versus his competitor. Looking back, Nunez still sitting in P3. Friesen, Slim, running P4 right now, but he's still a second back. Let's see if he can set a better lap here. So we've got 9 minutes left in qualifying. And isn't able to go one faster, but I think he's got it in him. We'll have to watch him. Baudry is running P5 right now, only 2/10ths back from Friesen. And Reed as well, only a half a tenth back from Baudry. So very close racing between those drivers there. Turnbull is almost a whole eighth of a tenth back from Reed. Belanger goes P7 in that brand new McLaren livery. Said it's his first time making a livery, I want to say. Just put the McLaren logo all over the place. I gotta say, looks a little bit Halloween. Looks a little bit Halloween inspired, but I kind of like it. It's a little bit quirky. It's a little bit weird, but I think it fits well with the rest of the liveries we have. Continue to watch Belanger here. Kevin Yu goes 9th fastest. Pitch goes one better than Belanger. Friesen not able to improve on his time, but Zhang is. And Tada ekes out a, let's see what that lap is, a 34.7 to get P4. Reed is able to do one better as well, a tenth of a second faster than Friesen. Remember, battle between Reed and Friesen today. If Reed can get a commanding win over Friesen, might see some changes in the standings. Gonna have to be doing some calculations today, I think, on the side, just so I can be sure as to who is getting points in today's race. Looking back, Fender setting a P13 time. Probably not what he'd like, but hopefully he can improve on that. Portis is just trying to stick with Zhang in terms of his timings. As he turns the final corner, hoping to go one faster with 6 minutes left in qualifying. Isn't able to do it, but I think that was an outlap. Zhang is just setting fastest lap after fastest lap here. Now 5/10 ahead of Portis in the timings. Looking at some of our other drivers. Reed looks like he's trying to warm up tires. Lot of close times between our mid P10 positions here. Tada, Reed, Friesen, Baudry, all 2/10 or so, 2 to 3/10 away from each other in terms of timing. And if you even go back to Turnbull, he's only 2/10 back from Baudry. Ooh, Reed a little bit squirrely. Got to watch out for that inside sausage curb there. Has to cut the corner. Keep it safe. That's going to be a very tricky corner for today. That a corner coming into that final hairpin down the very fast back, like second back straight there. For some reason, your car feels very light going in there, as there's a bit of cambering into that turn that kind of lifts the car up a little bit. Got to be very light on the braking. Can't go too hard because not only do you have to brake fairly hard to get in there, but you have to still be able to keep some speed going into the turn because you haven't reached the hairpin yet when you have to brake. You have to brake a little bit and keep on going another gosh, I want to say maybe 100 feet before you make the actual U-turn. Friesen now heading on to the back straight here. Beautiful camera shot there, sweeping, watching everyone go through that hairpin. So come down the straight into the first kink. Keeping it wide into the second kink. Braking. Trying to keep the speed as you cut the corner. And the hairpin. Now I was looking at some of the track maps here. I wanted to try and memorize some of the turn names, but I realized they're all very difficult. They're all fairly difficult Italian names. Now I guess there's Parco, which is the turn that Friesen's going through. Rio, the kind of odd angled hairpin there. That kink as you go onto the back straight. Very tricky turn as well. A lot of very tricky kinks in this track. Looks like another driver just was subject to disaster on one of the kinks. A lot of kinks and hairpins is what Misano's all about. Misano is probably more widely known in the automobile and racing community, uh, as it's a very staple track in the MotoGP circuits. But it's no slouch when it comes to GT3 either. Friesen hits the kink here. Hope to keep the speed. Reed is now P4. Only 10 100ths of a second back from ahead of Tada, I should say. Friesen crosses the line here. Isn't able to go one better, but he's got probably one lap left, maybe even two, as we go into a minute 30 left in this session. Let's watch some drivers further back. We've got Ricky Scott here coming into the pits, maybe practicing his pit entry, or thinks that's as good as he can go. Cormier in the Chromer Racing, the Chrome Porsche. Z goes and turns the kink here. Drivers steadily improving their times over the qualifying session here. A lot of these times have really condensed, as we started with about 4 seconds gap between the first and last driver. Now only 3 seconds, and even then the intervals between these drivers is incredibly close. Cormier is currently P11, Rise in the pits P12, Scott P13. Yu crossing the line now, hoping to go one better. Isn't able to do it. Sets a faster lap, but it just wasn't fast enough to move him up. Pinio in the Mercedes, currently in the pits, running P15. Fender P16, not doing too well today in that Audi. Although that one does get him a better position there. P14 for Fender. Collis in the pits right now, not opting to do any more laps. Portis now is 2.5 tenths back from Zhang, and he crosses the final line here. Hoping to go faster, and he's not able to do it. Zhang will take pole for the race today. Nunez is in the pits, so that's Zhang, Portis, Nunez, Reed. Friesen still running a lap with the 32 car of Cormier in front. He opts to just cancel that lap. Actually, I was looking at the wrong part of the map. 32 car of Cormier. Friesen opting to just end it there. P5 for him. Baudry goes one faster, though. Now he's got P5. Demotes Friesen to P6. Driver behind the 95 car of Kevin Yu as he crosses the finish line. Is he able to go one faster? 10th back from his best time, so not able to do it. Turnbull is the last on track for a qualifying session today. As he rounds the last turn. Gets all the track he can. Isn't able to improve, but that's our starting order. Zhang, Portis, Nunez, Reed, Baudry, Friesen, Tada, Pitch, Belanger, Turnbull, Cormier, Rise, Scott, Fender, Yu, Pinio, and Collis. Pitch was hoping for rain, but it doesn't look like he's going to get it today. We did have a 2-rain race mercy rule, but we haven't seen any rain yet this season, which is a bit of a bummer if you ask me. So, no rain this season of ZRL, but hopefully we can disperse that a little bit better next season. We'll see what we can do with that. I've only got a minute and a half, but I do want to plug our social media and everything one last time. Thank you again, all of you, for joining us for the final round of ZADs Galaxy Tour Season 8. if you're interested in following the ZRL racing community, uh, be sure to follow us on our social medias. Links are on our homepage of the YouTube channel. And if you're interested in getting the latest information on our leagues, be sure to join our Discord. Our admins are always willing to help if you have any questions. And we're always having the most up-to-date information on future leagues on the Discord page. Season 9 will be starting up fairly shortly after Season 8 here. But the best way to figure out any information for that, any news for that, is to uh, go to the Discord and join the community and get the information there. Our drivers have 30 seconds left to get the last minute setup changes that they need for this 60-minute race at Misano. Remember, our drivers are going to have one mandatory pit stop. They need to change for tires. Refueling is allowed. So we'll see what the strategies are for our drivers today, since they're going to need to take a 30-second pit stop for those tires. 30 seconds plus, because you got to get factor in the pit lane. We'll see what our drivers decide to do in terms of strategy. As they turn the corner here, drivers lining up, rolling start here at Misano, and we are green, we are go. Portis on the outside, better line through this first set of turns here, but Zhang gets a good start. Portis gets a great start though, has the inside line going into the first turn, and he is ahead to start the race. Great move from Portis to get it on Zhang here, but Zhang already looking to come back, not able to make it work there on Rio. The hairpin here. Got to go single file through the kink here. A little bit of trouble from some of our drivers in the back. Pinio already quitting out of the race. Portis and Zhang still battling out front. Zhang trying to go wide, figure out a move on Portis here. Not going to make it work on that hairpin though. Looking back, Baudry's made a move on Tada and Nunez. Tada and Nunez have both, Baudry and Tada have both made moves on Nunez. Nunez back in P5. Belanger P6. Cromier P7. Friesen drops all the way back to P8. Tada making the move. Baudry seems to have had a mistake there. Back into P6 as Zhang and Portis still battling it out front here. Tada's got Nunez breathing down his back. Belanger gets taken on the inside by Turnbull there. Cromier seems to have had a... Oh, no, Cromier is dressed in front, has made the move. As our timing is just trying to work itself out here, watching our leaders here. Zhang sets the fastest lap, but that's not saying something. It's the first lap. Zhang probably just trying to stick with here. Gonna need to make a move. On track is going to be my guess is the best way to make this work. Through the hairpin at Rio. Really is the goal to cut the corner as much as possible, go wide. We got some folks in the chat wanting Zhang to just dive bomb Portis here. I told Portis I wish he would have started at the back of the pack for this race. Pinio's back in the race. Maybe had some connection issues there. Good to see him come back, though. As they come down the back straight here. Zhang just trying to stick with drivers behind. Tada and Nunez still battling it out. Baudry still got P5. Cromier behind him. Turnbull. Belanger and Friesen. Friesen, not a great start from him. Reed, also a poor start from Reed. Reed all the way back in P14. Great news for Friesen as they're battling it out. Friesen's got some damage, though, on the front of that car. Portis just trying to increase that lead a little bit. These guys are definitely pulling away from the pack behind. Got some great battles going on. Tada and Nunez. Beaudry is just kind of in the middle there. The Krummer racing car. Great start from him. Already P6. Turnbull. Good start from him as well. Belanger goes a little bit wide, allows Friesen to take P8. Hughes also trying to get in there and forces Belanger to cut that corner there a little bit. Definitely going to get a warning or a penalty for that. A lot of damage on the front of Friesen's car, though. I bet that's slowing him down. Some contact in the opening laps of this race. Zhang just trying to stick with, but isn't able to make a move just yet. That's what I mean by Portis just able to take the right opportunity to go and pull ahead, and is able to use that that advantage of just being ahead, having to defend, making Zhang make the move. Really does work wonders when it comes to the race result. Chris Rise is another driver that's been able to move up. P11 for him. Fender right behind. Ricky Scott, P9, has also made the move on Belanger. Zhang with the fastest lap of the race, 34.3 to Portis' 34.4. Tada still holding ahead of Nunez there. Watching Turnbull now feeling pressure from Friesen behind. Friesen trying to make up for a poor start. Also some damage, it looks like, on the front of that Audi of Turnbull. Turnbull going wide into Parco there. Now this is a track where I'd say aero is pretty important, just because we have a lot of longer straights, not the longest straights that we've seen, a lot of long straights with fast corners. Really got to make your aero work for you here, going from corner to corner. Friesen has definitely got some speed on Turnbull, it looks like, as they round the hairpin heading down the large straight. Drivers in front. Friesen might be able to make the move here, but it's going to be risky as go into the braking zone here. Friesen definitely able to carry more speed than Turnbull, but has to hold the brakes there so as to not run into Turnbull. Thank you, Wolf. Well, you won't get me for some of the races next season because of work obligations, but I'll still be around, don't worry. Zhang still holds on to the fastest lap here. So we've got some battles between our drivers here. Looking at our leaderboards here, for this season, we've got Turnbull, who is currently sitting P13. Probably not that much of a contender against Friesen. Friesen's going to want to make up some of those places. Reed has also dropped back now to P15. Collis making the move on him. Looking at Collis and Reed here battling it out. Trying to maybe take a look at some of their cars, seeing if there's any damage. I can't see anything on Collis. Let's look at Reed. Doesn't. Take a look here, get a closer look. Doesn't look like there's too much damage on Reed's car. Maybe just a poor start from him. Pitch is all the way back in 16 as well. Not a great start from him, but hopefully he can make some of those places back with these pit stops and the strategy. Portis seems to be expanding that gap on Zhang. even though they're running similar lap time, Zhang is running a little faster, but it's really not a lot to make up time. Only about a half a tenth between their last lap time. Looking at a little bit of a battle for P3 here. Final podium position between Tada, Nunez, and Beaudry. Beaudry not having the best of starts, but has been able to get back into the race here with these top three drivers here. Nunez looking on the inside, have to hold the brakes so he doesn't run into Tada. That gives Beaudry an opportunity to capitalize on the bit of a mistake there from Nunez. But Nunez is able to hold the position. Looking at some of the drivers behind, looks like Turnbull and Friesen have been able to get back to that Cromer racing car, that Porsche. Todd's going to be feeling the pressure here. Got some three-way battles between drivers. Beaudry going over the sausage curb. Looks a little dangerous there from what I could see, but is able to hold it. Friesen looking on the outside of Turnbull there. Doesn't work, though. Probably had to brake early into that. It gives Ricky Scott is able to really come back, and now Turnbull's looking on the inside of Cromier there. But Cromier defends, is able to hold. Friesen trying to break Scott's toe there. But doesn't really do too much. Maybe trying to pull him off the line, get him thinking. Got a yellow flag, number 6 offender into the gravel at the hairpin. Zhang is staying awfully close to Portis up there. Going to be coming across Pinio anytime here. Turnbull looking on the inside as we go down the straight. Cromier doesn't have the best of exits from the kink there, and that gives Turnbull P6. Friesen's also going to be trying to capitalize on that move as well, but Cromier has the better line going into the hairpin here. Maybe trying to break early as Friesen gets pushed on the outside of the Porsche there and is able to make the move stick on the outside. Close battles between our drivers here. Three-way battle for P7 as Scott looks on the inside of Cromer. But Cromer's able to hold it off. Ooh, maybe a little contact between Scott and Cromier there. Friesen's now got a good grasp on P7 there, back up to Turnbow where they were battling before. Now the Scott between Cromier and battle between Scott and Cromier is going to be heating up. Nunez is able to take P3 from Tada. Tada's trying to hold with, though. Beaudry is breathing down his neck. Too many battles to watch, I gotta say here. All of these are great battles between our drivers here. And looking, Zhang has been able to set an even faster lap than before. 34.3. Fastest lap of this race. Tada gets a little bit squirrely on the exit there. Let's see if Beaudry's able to capitalize on that. Doesn't seem like he's able to. Trying to hold the line, get on the gas as early as possible, down the straight. And it looks like it may work against Tada here. Beaudry's got an inside line. 2x2 here. Down the straight. I think Tada's got the speed. Beaudry's got the inside line, though. Contact between Beaudry and Tada. Contact again. As Beaudry goes a little bit deep into the hairpin there. And Tada able to hold himself, keep himself composed there. After contact between Beaudry and himself. Close battling, a lot of aggressive battling between these cars here, but able to hold it off. And this battling, by the way, has allowed Nunez to pull 2.5 seconds almost ahead of these drivers. Looking further back, battles between Friesen and Turnbull still raging. Scott and Cromier still raging. Looks like Rise and Belanger. Fender has exited the lobby. Reed is back up to P13 after a poor start to his race. Collis down back into P15. Pitch has been able to get back to P14. Friesen just trying to stick to the tail end of Turnbull there. Turnbull being defensive. Gonna have to make something stick here. Friesen goes outside, but he's gonna have the better exit now down the long straight. Turnbull just trying to hold off Friesen. Going back up to our battle between Tada and Baudry. Tada a little wide out of the kink there. Baudry with the inside line. 15 minutes have already passed in this race, and Portis still holds on to the lead. And it looks to be gaining just slightly on Portis in front. Or I should say Portis is able to expand his lead just a tad. Messed that up a little bit backwards. Belanger disqualified from the race. I wonder what happened there. Drive-through penalty from Tada. Too many off-track penalties. That's going to be, I think that's going to be a common occurrence in today's race. Track limits are very tough to gauge here at Misano. If you cut the corners, which needs to be done, if you cut those corners too much, you are going to have an issue with drive-through penalties. That's not good for Tada's race. That will promote Baudry and a lot of the drivers behind, probably Turnbull, Friesen, up a position, as Tada's just going to have to go through the pits for a penalty here in the next few laps. Wonder what got Belanger disqualified from the race. Don't know if any of the chat members can see what happened there or was watching. Not entirely sure what happened there. Oh, looks like Fender's wheel disconnected, and looks like Fender's issue was a disconnected wheel, caused his wheel to lock up. Looks like Tada does not opt to go into the pits just yet. Zhang able to get back sometime. Friesen just holding. Scott was able to gain on Cromier, who maybe had an incident there. Cormier, ooh, almost into the back of Reed. A little bit flustered there. Just got to keep his composure as they go through the kink now into Parco towards Rio. Reed looking at move on Rise here. Gotta say, Rise is a very exciting newcomer, I'll say, to the league. Has had some great battles this season. If I remember correctly, a great battle at the Indy Road Course as Reed looks on the inside. Looking to make a move on Rise, but isn't able to make it stick. Rise is a newcomer to Zealous and has been a consistent force to be reckoned with there on the track. Has been making it to all of the races and has been very consistent. So looking forward to maybe seeing him back in future seasons. Rise now P9. Reed getting awfully close to Rise. Tough circuit to pass on, so isn't able to make it work though. Tada is now taking his drive-through penalty. That'll promote Baudry. And that'll promote Turnbull and Friesen, Ricky Scott, Chris Rise, Reed, Cormier, you, maybe Pitch. It's going to be close for Pitch. Don't think Pitch is going to be able to capitalize. Collis is able to get ahead, though, of Tada as a devastating turn of events. And looking at that, that'll actually make Tada our driver in last place, I think, but he's coming off on the track here right next to Pitch, and he's not last place, but that is a pretty devastating devastating penalty for Tada, and really just shows just how close our drivers are racing today. Tada was all the way up in P4, demoted down into P13. Checking back in on our leaders, Portis still holding Zhang behind him. Looking at our previous laps, though, Zhang has been able to set faster laps than Portis in the last few laps. Last lap was almost a tenth faster. Looks like Zhang might be getting into his groove now. He's gonna have to make it stick on one of the straights, though. Getting a better exit down this back straight here, or getting him on the hairpin, getting a better exit to get more speed down that long kinked straight. The second back straight, I'll call it. Like I mentioned, we're going to have to watch out for some drive-through penalties from our drivers. Reed making the move on Cormier. Reed back up into P9 after falling all the way back. Now he's battling with Rise, though, for P8. And it looks like he's able to make it stick. That is a P8 currently. But I maybe spoke too soon there. Rise does have the inside line and maybe has a better line going down the straight. But it looks like Rise isn't able to capitalize. Rise down now P8 or P9. And Reed should be able to hold P8 now as they come down this straight. But they're going to have to keep it clean here. Come into the braking zone. Reed a little bit wide there. Zhang dropped back a little bit, 0.3 slower than Portis last lap. Rise sticking with Reed here. Gosh, I can't even believe we're already 20 minutes into this race. The pit window will be opening shortly, so our drivers will start to be coming into the pits for their mandatory pit stop 4 tires. Now, Misano's got a pretty weird pit lane. It pretty much stretches the whole start-finish straight, but you kind of end up cutting the chicane after the main straight. But since you're still regulated to go the pit lane speed until you basically get to the end, the very end of the pit lane, you're going, what is it, 50, 60 kilometers per hour, cutting the kink, which turns out isn't really that much faster. So you end up losing a lot of time. Pitch is in the pits. So you end up losing a lot of time for your pit stop. Kind of deceptive how much time you lose, I gotta say. Looking at a battle here now. Turnbull and Friesen still raging here. Pit window, like I mentioned, it was coming up, and it is now open. 15-minute pit window for our drivers. Some of these drivers further back, they will get the opportunity to pit now. And it looks like the number 21 of Chris Rise will opt to pit right away. The 138 car of Collis behind, as well as you, will also decide to make the pit stop right away. So looks like Misano's giving our drivers quite a hard time tonight. I've had a few drivers already dip out. You really do hate to see it. I hate to use that, but you kind of hate to see it when a track gives our drivers so much frustration that they're leaving. Really don't care for leaving. I do understand that sometimes it's just maybe not worth your time. You get too frustrated. You got to cool down. I do definitely empathize with that, but I think I'd still try to stick with it. Maybe just try to keep it clean. Maybe not go pedal. Maybe not go as fast as I maybe want to. Now, I'm going to be interested here with Friesen. Friesen is in the pits. I'm interested to see what Friesen does here. I can see that there's damage on Friesen's car. Is he going to decide to fix some of his damage on that car? I see he's got a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be impeding his progress too much. Now, I think this could be actually a really good pit stop for Friesen. It looks like his pace, even with the damage, is going to be faster than Turnbull, because Turnbull appears to have some damage on the front of that car as well. But I'm wondering if it's going to be worth it for him to maybe take a couple extra seconds. I wonder how much time it would give him. Currently, the fastest lap he's run is a 35.4. I think he was able to get into the high 35s, maybe even lower 35s for the qualifying session. I don't remember exactly. But watching our leaders here now, going to be interesting to see when they decide to pit, as looks on the inside. Portis not going to pit, though. Friesen on his way out. Zhang has dropped back quite a bit in the last few laps. Pace just has not been there for Zhang. Maybe his tires are already dropping off a little bit. If I recall correctly, there is a point at which the tires, kind of in the middle of their life cycle, don't operate as well, and then they kind of gain back some of that performance. They got some pretty good performance once you get them heated up right away. But if I recall correctly, there is a little bit of a point where the tires don't operate nearly as well, but we're 16 laps into this race. I think we're well past that point. Other drivers into the pits currently. Ricky Scott, Nunez is in the pits. Beaudry opts to stay out. Pinio, he is back. Maybe just had to decompress a little bit. Good to see him back, though. Looking at the car behind our leaders there, I believe that was Friesen back in P10. Let's take a look at Friesen's car here. It does look like he fixed damage. His car is damage-free right now, so he did opt to take a little bit of time in the pits and fix that damage. I wonder how much that is going to improve his lap times. I do believe this is his out lap, so we won't really figure that out for a little while. Zhang is now 1.6 seconds back from Portis. 57 car of Pinio still in the pits. Scott on his way out. Looking at Scott, I can see it's very late when you can take the pit limiter off there. Put Scott right behind Friesen there. I believe that's going to be P11. But remember, Friesen did spend a little extra time in the pits. So Scott was running P9 before the pit stop and is running awfully close to Friesen now. But since Friesen did take a little bit more time in the pits, he is now a little bit further back. Beaudry running, Collis into the sausage curbs there. 10 minutes left in our pit window. Beaudry running P3, has not yet pit. This might be a good opportunity for some of our drivers like Reed, Tuta to get some time back. Now that they've got clear air for their cars to just drive, don't have to battle anyone. That's going to be a cut for Tuta for sure, though. Cutting it awfully close. Don't want to get another drive-through penalty there. Actually, for a second offense, I believe it's a stop-go 30. As Cramier is in the pits. Nunez already taken his pit stop, was running P3 before the pits. Now running in P8, and he is 44.8 seconds up from Friesen behind. So very comfortable there. We'll see where he ends up when all the rest of the drivers end up pitting here. But going back to Portis here and Zhang. I said it last race at Circuit of the Americas, but Portis just has such good race pace in that Honda NSX. It's almost like he's able to analyze the lap of his rival and copy it to an extent, and then improve on that. I don't know how he does it. He's racing on another level. Collis with a drive-through penalty track limits. I don't know how Portis does it. If he continues his... Oh yeah, for sure, Keg. I would 100% agree with that. He's already crashed 3 times, getting frustrated. Like I mentioned, I totally empathize with like getting like frustrated with doing poor. Like, don't get me wrong, it's happened to me before where I've just wanted to quit. Um, but but it is really great to see when a driver, even though they're frustrated, just sticks with it, gets laps in, you know, with does it. That's all good. That's all good, Keg. You know, I always love to see when a driver sticks with it, especially in a race like this where there are a lot of people dropping off because there are a lot of drivers dropping out. there, there goes Collis too. You know, when that happens, that just means you're going to be getting more points than the people who end up dropping out. Um, you know, Pinio might not have the most points, but currently he is P21 in the standings, and he's finished every race. Now, in a race like this, he's going to get just as many points. He's going to get just as many points as he did in the first race last week, where he was like middle of the pack at Coda. He's going to get just as many points if he sticks with it during this race as he did when he was battling last race. That's why I'm always a proponent. I'm always trying to advocate sticking with it, because P13 gets 17 points in this race. That is not a bad points haul. That's going to put him above 100 points this season. It's going to guarantee him going over 100 points this season, which is awesome. And, that might, putting himself over 100 points, 17 points will put him at, let me do the quick math here, 101 points. And the drivers behind him, a lot of drivers have been no-shows, things like that, have exited out. That's going to put him, move him up into that's going to move him up into P20 for the standings, top 20. Right now, that's going to improve his, that's going to improve his championship standings, which, when it comes to these especially more gentlemen's league series, it's not always all about winning, because I know that when I was racing in ZRL leagues, there's no way I could compete with somebody against Portis or Zhang, Beaudry, Turnbull. Like, these guys are so, Portis, Zhang, Beaudry, Nunez. These guys are so much faster than me when it comes to racing. Um, I'd be in the middle of the pack every time. But if I finished my races, I'd still get good points hauls, even if I had a bad race, right? So when you're in the middle of these ranks, when you're in these gentlemen's leagues, you can't always be shooting for number one. You got to be shooting for your the best that you can be doing. Um, because it's maybe hard to admit, but a driver like Portis, he's gonna blow a lot of other drivers out of the router. Portis and Zhang, or what I would consider them, aliens at this game when it comes to speed, right? Just incredible. Some of the best drivers I've been able to see, and there's even drivers faster than those guys. So the top tier, that skill gap between the top tier and where I would say maybe an average driver is, which is like you know, uh, Glenn and you, Cromier, Rise, Scott, Reed, all these guys, I would say, even though there may be some discrepancy, in their races from week to week, sometimes they might do way better, you know, it's still, like, you got to put that into perspective. Those are the guys you want to be battling with. I know that, I've said it before. Slim Friesen, uh, Justin Friesen is a really good friend of mine. One of my good friends who's um, really been with me since the start of my sim racing career. Um, when I race, I always try to beat him. I know he's way better than me. I know he's faster than me, but it's a goal to shoot for. If you can like pick a driver and shoot for those times, that is maybe 5 tenths faster than you, or like maybe even just 2 tenths faster than you. Depends on where you are in terms of your skill. That's where you got to shoot for with these races. That's where you have to shoot for with these leagues, because that's where you're going to get the improvement. That's what these leagues are here for, is for you to find drivers of your skill level and battle it out with them. And we've seen great battles this season. Battles between Friesen, Reed, Turnbull, Tutta. These guys have been duking it out all season, and they're not winning the championship. These guys are, you know, upper top tens, middle top tens, which is highly competitive in a lot of these leagues. So I really do think that's a long-winded way of me trying to say that it's always worth sticking with it, in my opinion. Um, and why even races like this where you get discouraged, it's always good to keep going, because the next race that comes here, you'll be better for it. You'll have had more laps under your belt. And as you guys have said in the chat, this is and Portis is now in the pits. Zhang's going to probably have to go in behind him here, and he does. And Beaudry's already pitted. But like I said, um, actually, I totally lost track of what I was saying there. Anyway, like I said, the track limits at this track, like you guys are saying in the chat, are absolutely brutal, and it only comes with a lot of repetition that you can really get a hang of where those track limits are. Looking back a little bit further, Turnbull now still battling it with Friesen for P6 or P5, sorry. Looking a little bit further back, it looks like Reed's trying to get his way into contention there, 5 seconds back. But like I said, repetition is key to improving on a lot of these circuits, because that's how you learn them. I don't think there's one track in this game that I could go out of the box and be good at, right? Um, I've had to have raced them maybe once in the past to really maximize my speed on a track. Looking back, Zhang 2 seconds back from Portis now. They've got Pinio between them. Zhang's gonna Pinio being a gentleman there, just letting Zhang pass. on the inside and braking a little early, giving him as much room as he needs. Zhang now 3 seconds back from Portis. Really, Portis is really just driving away with this one. Wow, it's incredible race pace from him. Going back at Turnbull, and Turnbull does not appear to have fixed the damage on that Audi, which is why I really do believe that Friesen's still behind that Audi. Maybe it wasn't the right move for Friesen to pit for damage repair. This is really the battle on track right now too. Friesen getting onto the curbing there. Friesen's definitely got the pace in him as well. And all this time behind him is really going to damage his chances of being able to catch up to P4 Beaudry. Friesen's probably going to have to try and make a move on this main straight, getting a good run into the hairpin at the end of the straight. It's going to be the opportunity. A lot more confident braking from Friesen there, but it has to stay respectful. Doesn't want to get any more damage on that car to compromise his times any more than he already may have. And just to prove that he is much faster with less damage, best lap so far is a 34.7 in that after the pit stop. As you remember, he had I believe it was a 35.5. So repairing for damage almost 7-8 tenths faster now with those damage repairs. Turnbull a little bit wide. Gonna have to watch out for that. Can get warnings for track limits there. It looks like Friesen maybe had a rough time of it as well. I'm really surprised we haven't seen more track limits penalties. Happily surprised, I will say. I know we've gotten a few and drivers have left. Driver to shout out as well is Pinio. Is Tada for sticking with his drive-through penalty. Tada now down in P11, having had to serve that drive-through penalty. Hats off to him for sticking with it. That's going to net him, I believe, 21 points in the standings, which if you looked at the standings, I don't believe he was really in any trouble to begin with, but hey, still good points nonetheless. Oh, Turnbull goes a bit wide there into the kink. And a little bit squirrely on the exit of the final turn there. Friesen is getting awfully close, goes on the outside and is able to hold it. Is he able to get it here on the inside? Keeping it respectful, but Turnbull does get the better run of it out of the chicane there. I think it's fair enough to call that a chicane or a kink. Close battling between Friesen and Turnbull here. Back to back as they go down the back straight. Friesen going wide. Turnbull just trying to play a little bit defensive. Friesen going on the inside, trying to get ahead. And now they go side by side into one more hairpin here, forcing Turnbull to play defensive yet again. And oh man, great defense by Turnbull there. And all this battling is allowing Reed to catch back up. Now only three seconds back from these two battling it out. Reed, after having a poor start to the race, already back up into P7. If I had to describe Misano too, with all these track limits, it's really down to kinks and it's down to hairpins. This track, I swear, is just the home of kinks is the home of hairpins. Just awkward turns along almost pretty much along the whole track. Thank you for the follow, Walter. Thank you for the subscribe. Not gonna lie, that really startled me there. Was not expecting to get that subscribe button to be hit, but thank you, Walter, for the subscribe. Friesen seems to have lost a little bit of time there in the last sector. But as I was saying, really a track defined by its kinks and hairpins. I mean, really, the first turn into that chicane is that. I mean, I would say that's a kink into another very awkward, slow speed right-hander, into another kind of kink that you have to accelerate out of, into one of the most awkward hairpins I've ever experienced in a race on a track, into another, probably one of the most awkward kinks I've experienced into a track there. And even the last, really that last turn, you know, it's a kink followed by a tight left-hander reminiscent of Kai Lamy, I would say. Maybe definitely a little bit more camber than Kai Lamy in this turn, though, so you can take it a little faster, I would say. Friesen and Turnbull into Rio. The awkward hairpin into the awkward kink. Friesen definitely getting the better line there. But he's not close enough to make a move. Now Reed, he is less than 2 seconds back from this battle here. He's going to be coming into play very shortly. Friesen's got to make a move, and he's got to make it stick. Otherwise, he's going to feel the pressure from Reed. Might already be feeling it, to be honest. Looking to our leader, Portis. Portis taking an absolutely commanding lead of almost 4 seconds. Portis with the fastest lap of this race, a 33.8. Very, very rapid laps. And Zhang, fastest lap he can muster is almost a 34 spot on. Nunez, P3, having a very comfortable race up there. A very large buffer between Nunez and P3 P2 and P4. So I don't think he's going to have any issues there. All the battling behind as well has allowed Beaudry to get a 10-second gap on Turnbull. Oh wow, that was bad. But allowed him to get a 10-second gap on Turnbull and Friesen. And the battle that we've been watching, Turnbull, Friesen, Reed coming in close behind, almost a second now. Ricky Scott, P8, great race for Ricky. His best performance so far this season has been another P8 at the second race at Watkins Glen. So hoping to get another result like that. Chris Rise, P9, feeling pressure now from Cormier behind him, but holding off for the time being. Cormier had a good start to the race. Has tailed back just slightly, but he's sticking with it in the Team Chromer Racing Porsche. Tada is getting close now as well, only about 3.5 seconds back. from the drivers ahead of him. Making good time, though, too. So we'll have to see where he ends up. Could get a P9 finish to this race with less than 12 minutes left to go in the race. Got Kevin Yu sticking with it in that McLaren as he crosses the start-finish line. Zhang right behind him, and then crowd MVP for sticking with it, Glenn Pinio in that Mercedes AMG. Really great to see him sticking with it. Definitely MVP for grit in my book. Portis just absolutely commanding that lead. And looking back, we're going to have a three-way battle for P4, 5, and 6. Or sorry, 5, 6, and 7. Remember, Reed and Friesen are awfully close when it comes to points this season. Only 4 points difference between those two drivers. So if Reed is able to pull ahead, of both Turnbull and Friesen is not able to make the move on Turnbull, that's going to mean they tie for points in the championship standings. That means there will be 4 points apart from each other in terms of points they gain this race, and that's what they're seeing right now. If Friesen is ahead, or even 1 place behind, he'll beat him in the championship standings. Turnbull a little bit squirrely out of the hairpin, trying to break the toe, but Turnbull not doing it himself. Gives Reed an open opportunity to keep the perfect opportunity to keep the slipstream from Turnbull ahead. But no position changes thus far. Gonna have to make the move soon if Slim wants to stay ahead. Trying to get Turnbull to make a mistake, but it doesn't look like it's going to be happening as we're less than 10 minutes left this race. Tada has been able to take P10 from Cormier. So, news from our admin, whoever has the highest finish in a race will take the lead, will take the win, which in this case would be Reed, because he got a P4 in our second round at Bathurst, Mount Panorama in Bathurst, and Friesen has only been able to muster a P5. Really wish Friesen's probably going to really wish he had a better first race at Spa this season. 24th in the first race at Spa. Has been really consistent other than that. But that might cost him the championship. Might cost him the position in the championship this season, as Reed now has the line on Friesen. I think he's going to, yep, lose out. Reed now is P6. Now Friesen's just got to hope and pray that he does not overtake Turnbull. Because like I said, if he does, that is going to mean Friesen is ending P5 in our standings, and Reed will take P4. Nunez with a P3 position too. That's going to net him 40 points in the standings, putting him up at 205 points in the standings, which would put him, I believe, at P7, because Chris Rise, currently P7 with 192, will be getting some good points in P10. In P10, he'll get 23 points, which will mean he will be moving into P6 in the standings. Won't be enough to catch Friesen and Reed, though. Nunez, though, will be able to get P7 in the standings. Which I gotta say, for missing the first half in the season, is a very respectable result. Not gonna lie. Very great result from Nunez in the final races this season. Race is getting awfully close between these three. Friesen's tailing off a little bit, and Reed is looking awfully racy as we enter the final 6 minutes of this race. It's going to be about 4 or 5 laps. That's plenty of opportunities for Reed to overtake Turnbull, and he's looking aggressive. Reed wants that spot. Reed wants the win. He wants the points. If he even knows he's battling for it. As much as you hate to see maybe a boring race out front, this is championship standings on the line between these drivers, Friesen and Reed. And that is really just the reality of racing. You're going to have battles in the midfield. That's where things are going to matter as well. As Reed's dropping back just a little bit here, and Friesen's going wide into the back straight here. Don't know if he's going to be able to make the move here, as Reed and Friesen looked a little bit squirrely that last hairpin. So just lining up behind Turnbull here, as Turnbull tries to battle him off. He's going to have to be very defensive. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. Like I mentioned, it's going to be about maybe 3 or 4 laps, depending on where our leaders are, as our leader is currently crossing or turning the hairpin down the main straight now. You can see about 3 laps or so left as Reed breaks a little late into the chicane here, trying to get close to Turnbull, maybe make a move. Reed taking the inside line out of Parco here, but isn't able to make a move. Out of Rio into the odd kink. Turnbull's got to keep it clean. Friesen is wide. Wide off track, going to lose some time there. Friesen. Reed. On the outside, Turnbull trying to be a little defensive, but that means he's going to have to go wide. Is able to hold it. Turnbull still holding off Reed's attacks. Ooh, Reed getting awfully close into the braking against Turnbull there, and looks like he's on the power pretty fast as well, but it's going to be hard to overtake on the straight. Guess with 3 minutes left, any viewers, cast your driver of the day. I know this isn't Formula 1, but maybe we should do some driver of the day again here at ZRL. Oh, what the heck, guys. Cast your vote. Driver of the day. And if you've been watching our season so far, cast your driver of the season. Two minutes, 40 seconds left in the race, as Portis is now on that back straight, the long straight, heading into the kink. Don't want to take our eyes off of this battle here, but if I do the math correctly, he's going to probably cross that finish line at about 2 minutes left, meaning we're probably going to have, Friesen getting awfully close, making contact, and gives the place back. Gentlemanly there of him. Knew he had to make a move, though. And I hate to say it, but that may have been A pretty advantageous move from Friesen there. I don't know if he knows he's battling for championship standing here, but that does put Reed in a position to not be able to overtake Turnbull on this straight. He's gonna have to battle it back as they're losing time from that little bit of contact there. Puts him much further back than he was before. Given previous lap standings, maybe Turnbull would have been feeling more pressure from Reed here, but isn't so far. Reed's already making back some of that time, but he's only got one opportunity now to make the move. So, however you take that, it's a bit aggressive from Friesen, but it could just save him in the standings. I'm not gonna lie. I think that move's okay. He corrected it on track, and even though it was definitely a send, when you're battling with somebody, especially if you know you're close in the points, sometimes you gotta maybe make that move. These cars are a little bit more durable than an open wheel. I don't think you'd make that move in an open wheel car, but since you can make it here, I'm willing to maybe give it a slide. Definitely is aggressive. Don't get me wrong. Definitely is aggressive. And could have ended up a lot worse, but since it didn't end in any wreckages, maybe it could be seen as a racing incident that was corrected on track. And this is Reed's last chance. This is going to be the last lap of the race here, as Portis is now on that back straight. Turnbull, well, actually, these drivers are going to have to do one more lap now that I think about it. Didn't see that before. Friesen is an awful long ways back now. It's going to give Reed one more chance now to make a move on Turnbull. Turnbull's got to defend. Friesen is placing his race into Turnbull's hand here. Placing his race into Turnbull's hands, because if Turnbull cannot, and Friesen has a drive-through penalty now in the last moments of the race. Oh no, for off-track penalties. That's gonna move him behind. I think that's gonna maybe move him behind Ricky Scott. Wolf, correct me if I'm wrong. How much is a time penalty? Is he gonna have to go into the? Is he gonna have to go into the pits on the last lap, and that's gonna be his drive-through? I wonder, because that could cost Friesen. That could cost Friesen his championship standing there. That could just promote Lee. That could promote Reed automatically into P4, because Friesen's just gonna lose a lot of time there. Is going to lose a place out to Scott, and could even lose a place out to Tutta based on how long the pit lane is. That is incredibly tragic. Really does suck for Friesen. Oh man, maybe that's just karma coming back to him though. Making that move on Reed. I guess you get what you dish out. Is it a 30-second time penalty? I think it might be. I think it's better for him to take the drive-through, if I'm not mistaken, as you and Pinio in the pits. And I didn't watch it because I was so invested in the race there. Friesen is going into the pits, and Ricky Scott is going to overtake him. So that is going to be the final, and he does get the 30-second penalty on top of that, which is going to demote Friesen even more than he already was. So that is very, very tragic. Great defense from Turnbull, I will say. Our final standings in this race are Portis, Zhang, and Nunez. Great racing from those three, and that will make Portis our winner of the championship this season, and Zhang he will get P2 in the standings. Tada is our P3. With that last little battle there, Reed will come home in P4, and that will demote Friesen into P5. But great battling between all of our drivers today. That was incredibly close battling right there. Um, you really do hate to see a lot of the drive-through penalties that we've had in this race. You hate to see drivers leaving, but really we saw some incredible drives from our drivers today. Huge congratulations to our winner today, KP Portis. Excellent racing this season. You really did deserve it when it came to coming back after not getting the positions during qualifying. Really excellent driving from Portis, and really a shout out to Zhang as well. Zhang is a newcomer as far as I'm aware to uh, Zhang is a newcomer to the Zealous Racing League, but he really made an epic debut as a rookie. Definitely rookie of the year, I guess. Rookie of the season for season 8. Excellent performance from him. Great performances from all of our drivers. I just want to thank them so much for joining us for season 8, and hope to see all these drivers back for season 9. Got to do one last plug here, season 8. During season 8 for Zealous. If you're interested in following us, be sure to check us out on social media. We have links on our homepage for our YouTube channel, links to our Facebook and Twitter page. And if you're interested in getting the most up-to-date information on the league, do join our Discord page. There's a link also on the homepage of our YouTube channel for our Discord page. That's where you're going to get, access to communicating with our admins, even communicating with other parts of our community that enjoy other aspects of racing. And that's where you're going to get the most up-to-date information on future leagues. So if you are interested in joining in the future, Season 9 is just around the corner within the next few weeks. The team is trying to iron out a few final details here and there, but be on the lookout for more information very soon. I would say maybe in the next week or two, we're going to get that information. And also, if you're new to sim racing, even a veteran sim racing, come on by, join the community, and uh, come and get to know us. We're a league of gentlemen racers that are just trying to promote our favorite sport, which is auto racing. And if you have any questions, we're always open to help the best of our ability and do our best to help this community grow, this sim racing community grow. So again, thank you. Yeah. Well, if you look at the chat right there, anyone who's viewing, Wolf just mentioned Season 9 will be announced shortly within the next week. So be on the lookout for information on that. And I want to give one last thank you for you, our viewers. Thank you so much for joining us during this journey of Season 8. It's been an excellent opportunity for myself. This is my first season casting. Thank you for all of the great feedback. And thank you so much for the Zealous Racing League admins for allowing me the opportunity to announce for the first time. So thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited to come back next year even stronger. And I just want to thank all of our drivers, thank all of our viewers. You guys did great. Can't wait for next season. Huge congratulations to our podium championship winners, Portis, Zhang, and Tada. Hope to see you guys back racing next season during Season 9. I'm so excited. It's going to be great. Another longer form season. And hopefully next year, fingers crossed, next season we'll get some rain races. I can't wait to commentate a rain race. I love rain races. So hopefully we'll get some of that next season. But that is all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much again for joining us. My name is Shim. I've been your host. I'll see you all next time for Season 9, our opening race for Season 9. And can't wait to be bringing you to the stream until then. So Until then, have a fabulous night, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the track next time. Peace out.